Hawkeye.
Yes.
Marvel MCU series.
Number 5.
Number 5, the 5th series from Marvel this year. Too many. Finally finished up its first season on last Wednesday.
You say first season, is that
Well, I say first season because we never really know if these are limited series or if they are multiple series.
Okay.
Like, for example, What If and Loki are multiple series. However, WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier were single series. So we don't know what's happening. But it's I don't know. It leaves it open ended, but so does every other Marvel show. So what the heck do I know? Hawkeye has been premiering for the past 6 weeks and has been a Christmas themed show set around Christmas, starring Jeremy Renner and Haley Steinfeld as Clint Barton and Kate Bishop respectively, as they battle the gangs and mafia of New York as Hawkeye tries to erase and fix the damage he'd done while he was Ronin during the events of Avengers Endgame and within those 5 years of the blip within the MCU. And along the ride is Kate Bishop, played by Haley Steinfeld, who is kind of like his partner and just, I guess, looks up to him and wants to be him, and so has a bow and arrow, and wacky bow and arrow shooty antics ensue. So the series finished up, and what do I think? I don't really care. It is one of the more better than average series for Marvel, but it is just that complete and utter middle ground. It's not like Falcon and the Winter Soldier where it's going a little bit above and beyond with its messaging. It's not like What If? No, it's not like WandaVision, which has got really good ideas with subpar execution. It is doing what it's trying to do. Everything in it is fine. Everything is good. All the characters are fun to watch. It's got good reveals, and the payoff is, as every single Marvel show has had, apart from Loki, is a bit of a whimper. Yeah. Which is the most infuriating thing ever. That every episode leads up to it and is pretty good. Once again, the episode before the finale was fantastic, and then every finale episode, apart from Loki, has been generally pretty misguided and not that good, and kind of feels a bit rushed. I think Hawkeye isn't as bad, but there are aspects of it that I don't really want to spoil, that have been messed up a little bit. Because it's all over social media, I will mention that Vincent D'Onofrio does return as Kingpin.
He's been fairly open about it as well.
He's been fairly open about it. So is Marvel Instagram accounts and Twitter accounts and whatnot. Vincent D'Onofrio played Kingpin within the Daredevil series that was on Netflix. And it was confirmed by Kevin Feige that Charlie Cox would be returning as Matt Murdock in future MCU projects as well. And I believe by connection that means that the 2 side characters from Daredevil as well. One of them is called Foggy.
Oh, Foggy Nelson.
Foggy Nelson.
Yeah.
And
he was originally played by Jon Favreau. So if Doctor Strange
in the Ben Affleck one.
Yeah, if Doctor Strange gets Ben Affleck back, you could have 2 Jon Favreaus in the same film.
Oh, don't even.
That'd be heaven.
Don't even do that to me. I go crazy for the opportunity of 2 Jon Favreaus. I hope they visit the Chef universe. That would be.
We've always wanted them to visit the Chef universe.
That would be great. Anyway,
yes.
It's Eldon Henson as Foggy Nelson and Deborah Ann Wall as Karen Page have also been rumored to be returning to MCU as well. But of course, the big one being Vincent D'Onofrio, literally big as Kingpin, because Kingpin is an absolute tank and has been in the Daredevil series. Of course, he's a little bit nerfed in Hawkeye, because Hawkeye is a PG-12A series, whereas Daredevil was a hard 15 in the UK.
I think it was even an 18.
It was an 18 at points, and I think it's definitely R-rated in America. But they, of course, had to tone him down just that little bit for the Disney.
Do you ever think that he'll get back to his, let's say, R-rated roots?
Well, here's the thing. I hope Marvel do kind of take the stick out their butts and
so to speak,
and decide to just show it all instead of hiding so much of it. Because with some of the heroes upcoming, like if they're gonna do another Daredevil thing, or if Daredevil's gonna appear in other stuff, if they're doing Blade, if they're doing Deadpool, If they're going to do Punisher, who knows? John Berthenol could come back.
That'd be a great. Yeah,
that would be great.
That would be, yeah.
Then I would really, really hope that we would get more R-rated content from Marvel. And
let's not beat around the bush. Some of the content that's been recently in Marvel, like Falcon and the Winter Soldier's theming, and I'm guessing some of the stuff that's in Hawkeye as well. That's quite violent stuff.
Yeah,
and I feel like even if you put that content into a show or a film that's aimed for all audiences, let's say, or even a 12A audience, it's still quite traumatic stuff.
I think it's kind of integral that Marvel do bite the bullet and go R-rated, because if they don't go R-rated, then they're going to lose out on a lot of really good stuff. And I would be upset if they didn't do R-rated stuff. Because I know they're all about not alienating part of their audience. They want Marvel to be accessible for all ages, but I think it's time to maybe split that group and do adult Marvel and kids Marvel, and sometimes merge them, but when you merge them, make the adult kids rather than the kids adult.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense to what I'm saying. But, it's weird, because we say that, we think they're alienating their audiences, but you look at stuff like WandaVision, that was a whole show based around old sitcoms.
Yeah.
Kids aren't going to get that.
That was the thing. We had a few friends that watched the first few episodes and didn't really enjoy
the first few episodes. They hated them because they thought they were boring.
Whereas we thought the first 2 episodes, first 3 episodes even, are
were the best ones
of
the show. It is weird that they're like, we can't alienate audiences for R-rated stuff, when a lot of the subtext and a lot of the content they're doing is, for adult. It's for more adult audiences.
Yeah.
I'd hope that maybe something like Moon Knight would kind of break us and ease us into doing more R-rated stuff. And She-Hulk is another one. Not that I'm saying it's going to be R-rated, but that's looking like it's going to be a fourth wall breaking law drama.
Yeah, it's also referencing the 70s Incredible Hulk show.
Yeah.
So come on now,
it's all over the damn place.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's very strange. But then you have stuff like Miss Marvel, which is obviously going to be aimed at kids,
and rightfully so.
Rightfully so.
That's the thing with. I will ask questions about Hawkeye. Don't worry. But the idea of you've got all of these characters, you've got all of these situations and plots, and you've got to make sure that you're hitting them to the right audience.
Yeah.
Because if you were to aim Blade at a younger audience, not only would you be destroying the comic book version of Blade, but you're also kind of not allowing that character to actually
flourish,
go for the audience that they're trying to.
Yeah.
So Blade for kids doesn't really seem like it would work at all.
It doesn't. It's confusing.
Yeah.
I think you can tell how not boring but uninteresting Hawkeye was, because considering I've talked about this rather than Hawkeye itself. It is a good show. It is still decent. It is Marvel.
Is the action good?
The action is pretty good at times. It's fun as well.
Jeremy Renner and Haley Steinfeld, how do they do?
They have good chemistry. Haley Steinfeld is very nice to watch. She's a pleasant person in the show. There are good side characters. There are fun comedic moments, and hell, I don't even hate Jeremy Renner in it. I wouldn't say it completely saved Clint Barton for me as a character, but it was good and it was decent. Good representation through the character of Maya, who is Echo, who I don't know who she's played by. My apologies. I haven't looked that information up. I'm terrible. I'm a bad radio host. But she's good for deaf representation.
And Echo's getting her own show, is
Echo is also getting her own show as well.
Yeah.
The way they handle that is pretty good. And it did a good enough job setting her up, because I'm now kind of excited to see her in the show and see more of her, because it was good, but also because it's probably going to include Kingpin. And I would love to see more of Vincent D'Onofrio.
Is he good in it?
He plays the character exactly the same from the Daredevil series, just slightly toned down and a little bit souped up as well.
Okay.
For example, he rips a car door off, which I'm pretty sure Kingpin couldn't do in the Daredevil series. And he also takes an arrow to the chest and literally brushes it off.
Brilliant.
He's also wearing a very famous comic outfit from, I think it's a Family Business issue 1 cover, in which he's wearing a red Hawaiian shirt and a white tux suit. And a top hat, and people said he looks ridiculous, but Vincent D'Onofrio picked that and said, I want that for my Kingpin outfit. I don't think it's very funny. Right, enough Marvel. Let's get to some real content after the news.